Hi everybody, this is IFBB Pro Dr. Mark the Shark Smith here at Deezel Muscle. Having the privilege today to interview Robert Farrow, one of the best people I know personally, and also one of the most key individuals for Arizona bodybuilding in general. Robert, do you want to introduce yourself to the crowd for a little bit?
Sure. Hi everybody. My name is Robert Farrow. I'm 52 years old. I'm married. I have two stepsons, 15 and 12, and I have one on the way. And the owner of Deezel Muscle.
It's a wonderful gym. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much.
As far as like bodybuilding for you in general, how did you get your start?
Well, I think from the very beginning, I knew from a young age when I first saw muscles. I remember watching Tarzan and going, "That's what I want to look like. I want to be a man that's got muscles." So, from a very young age, I mowed yards. I used to live on the Air Force Base. We moved here from England and lived on the Air Force Base and mowed yards when I was 10 years old, got some money, went down to the BX, and I knew I wanted to get somehow I wanted to start building some muscle. I remember going down and actually putting ankle weights on and walking around the store with them at first, and then I'm like, nah. Then I went back and I found this little, what they call a junior barbell set. And it had 4 2-kilo weights, so you're looking at 17 pounds total. I picked that up, took that home, and so that's how I got my start, I suppose. And it really helped because my neighbor, he came by and he would knock on my window and, "Hey Rob, you ready to go out and go have some fun? We'll go play or whatever." And he noticed the weight set in the corner, which, to be honest with you, I was a little embarrassed about. Just because I wanted to be bigger. And he goes, "Oh, is that your weight set?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You won't keep it up." And I thank him for that today, for saying that, because I think that was, I'm kind of stubborn like that. You tell me I'm not going to do something, then I'll do it, And then I just would add to that weight set. I remember by the time I was 16, actually having like a regular bench that I made, and I used garbage cans to rack the bar, 16 years old. And I remember my girlfriend came over, and that was the first time she saw me in shorts. And I remember putting my leg up on the bed, like hanging out, and she looked at my legs and said, "Do you not train legs?" And I remember like just being so embarrassed, putting my legs down, and wish I could have like wrapped them in a towel or something. So shortly after that, I started going to a gym, Golden's Health and Racket. It was on First and McDonald. And dumbbells went up to 55s or the old chrome ones, but it worked. I mean, that's all I needed. And I trained there, and the gym I really wanted to train at was JP's gym, which was a little bit more hardcore bodybuilding style, which I would say probably sparked my interest in being a gym owner and having a gym. I just thought it was just a cool vibe where all these people can get together and train and have something in common. And so I started training there when I was 18. Met my first real bodybuilder that it really inspired me, Vinny Comerford. He had just won the middleweights at the Nationals at 176 pounds, 5'4", and bigger than life. Yeah. I mean, the dude was just fantastic. I just loved being around him. He had so much energy, and I think that was one of the, like, man, if I could just be in the gym and just lift weights, that'd be great. And then I kept training, and when I was 22, I did my first bodybuilding competition. I won that. It was an all-natural competition, all-natural organization. And my third show, I was a natural pro, and I just kept going from there. Every year or two, I would make improvements in my physique and go compete. And I competed from 148 and competed at over 200 pounds. So it's been fun. It's been a good ride.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, you've been competing all the way until what, like a year or two ago?
Yeah, 2019. So that was kind of cool because I proposed to Jessica on stage in 2013 at the Fox Auditorium. Fox is her maiden name. And on the way home, I told her what all my plans were, because I'm very much of a goal orientated. I love to have things to do, and I like to make a game plan, and it makes life more interesting and fun for me. At the time, I didn't have this gym, but I told her, you know what, I'm going to open up a gym. Once that gets going and I'm doing good, I'm going to treat myself to a bodybuilding competition when I turn 50. And that's why I did that at 50.
Very good. Yeah. Well, I mean, you've had great success in your career as far as competitions, as far as like achieving a lot. As far as like for athletes today going into the bodybuilding circuit specifically, like what do you think is your biggest piece of advice that you would give them for success?
I would say do it because it's something that you enjoy doing. I guess it would be similar to golf. If you like the golf, then golf, but don't get into golf thinking you're going to be on the PGA Tour and making all this money, because at the end of the day, find something you enjoy doing. And if you happen to be that good and you're a pro and you're fantastic. But I would say the big thing would be patient, and remember it's an individual thing. You're working on creating your best version, not looking at someone else going, man, I want to look like him, because you know what, at the end of the day, you're not going to look like him. You're going to be the best version of you, and that's all we can ask for. And that's what's wonderful about bodybuilding, because everyone has their own look, and it's about developing with bodybuilding. You're going to develop your best look.
Very good. No, I agree 100%, especially being a IFBB pro myself. Like, no, that doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
It's definitely a passion sport, and it took me a long time to get there too. But now, as far as like the opening your own gym aspect of it, I guess you brought up that you told your at the time my fiance that you wanted to open your own gym. I guess what was the epiphany that you had that you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to open my own gym. So I worked at Gold's Gym for 16 years, and I remember going out to Gold's in Venice and seeing Charles Glass, and I remember telling Charles Glass, I want to be the Charles Glass of Gilbert Gold's. It was kind of funny. And I loved it. I loved being there. It was fun. The people were great. And then it was right before Gold's turned into or sold to EOS. They were just bringing in so many people. I think they dropped the rate down to $10 a month, and there was so many people in there, Mark, that it just got really hard for me to do the job as a personal trainer that I want to do. I get excited about writing up programs and meeting people, and I would have people travel an hour to come work with me. And if you came during those busy hours, I was kind of just, well, we don't necessarily have to do this first, which you don't have to do this first, but it was at that time that I thought, you know what, first of all, I stopped training people during those hours because I didn't feel like I could give them what I really wanted to give them. And at that point in time, because I still had to pay the same amount of rent, I started collecting equipment. I started getting equipment knowing I'm going to do this eventually. I'm going to do it eventually. And I guess that's what it was. The gym just got too busy, and I wanted a place where I could train people and train them the way I wanted to train them. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. And I guess with your start of Deezel Muscle and what it's turned into, I guess, what do you think of it now? Like, I mean, is this exactly what you pictured it would be?
Wow. It's like bodybuilding, Mark. It's like you don't really know what's going to happen. You just enjoy the process, and you wake up every day and you want to be better than you were yesterday. And I want to provide a gym that's feels like a community. And I remember when I was at JP's, even though I loved the gym, I just wished, man, if you could just give me one new piece of equipment once a year would be great. And like since you've been here, I just keep getting equipment. I just want things to be better. So what was the question again?
Just like, is it turned into something?
Is it what I thought it was going to be? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm always thinking a little bit ahead, so I know the next step. I know the next thing I want to do. I know the next thing I want to do. And it's happening for me. The coolest thing is I learned patience through bodybuilding, especially being a natural pro bodybuilder. That's a lot of patience involved. So I use that same mindset when it comes to building my business. just have patience and just keep going, and it's working out. It's going great. At first, I didn't think I would have a gym that was going to be open to the public. I thought it was just going to be just personal training, and then I realized, man, I have to close the doors every day I go home. I mean, it's a shame to not let someone use the facility. And I was having my buddies ask me about the gym. Hey, can we train there? Well, no, because if I'm not there, you know, I'm not going to give everyone a key. But now it's different.
I get it.
You know, we got the key fob system, and yeah, it's turned into something that's really been wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I love the community. It's why I've been
Thank
here.
you.
I got the
Thank
term
you.
professional through here.
Dude, it's great having you, Mark.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
And yeah, the key fob and the 24-hour access, it's fantastic. I'm glad you went that way.
Yeah, me too.
Now, as far as Arizona, it's saturated with gyms everywhere. Like
Yes, it is.
EOS's, the Sportas, Vasa, all sorts of independents, and like there's a bunch of gyms just everywhere.
Yes.
I guess what makes, how hard was it to keep yourself like afloat, and what is your like differentiating factor to ensure that you're like setting your own standard?
Well, so I think in the very beginning, I knew I wanted to do it on my own. I didn't want to have a partner. I was offered that quite a bit in the beginning. What about if we partner up? What about if I do this? And I just want to do it my own way. And I wanted to get in and not have the overhead be that much, to where I knew I didn't want to be in business and have someone that I have to rely on their money, or else I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. But yet I have to keep this person, even though I don't really like them and they're not really good for the energy flow of my gym. I just didn't want that. So I knew I didn't want to get in over my head. So I would say, make sure you don't get in over your head. Don't get into it expecting, okay, well, I'm going to make this much later on. My wife even asked me in the beginning, well, how much money are you going to make? I don't know. I don't know.
Good answer.
We'll see, you know. So I would say take it slow and do it because it's really what you want to do. If you do it with the right reasons, because you really want to help people, I want to have a kick-ass place for people to come. You know, I'm paying people to come write some cool ass shit on the walls, which motivates me. I hope it does for you and the rest of the members here. But I just want to keep adding, and I want to make it not just a gym, but an experience.
Well, you definitely done. I mean, I personally noticed a difference from going to like an EOS, which is really low energy and kind of terrible, to here.
Thank you.
It always makes me gravitate to here. And how many members do we have, by the way?
We have 500 members.
That's a lot for the size of the gym.
It's kind of crazy in the big. You know, we were just talking about this a little bit ago, and I remember thinking, oh, if we had 100 people, that'd be good. And man, we could still fit more people in. We still fit more people in, especially knowing that we're open 24/7. You know, it's 500, but not. I mean, we still have room for more.
Yeah. I mean, it never gets too busy in here that we can't move around. I mean, during the pandemic and slowdown, it got a little busy, but
yeah, and we grew.
Yeah.
Right. So we had that pandemic, and we had a lot of people coming in, but I took that money and invested and got more stuff to accommodate the growth, and that's what I plan to continue to do.
Yeah, as far as your future is concerned, like, what do you see for the future of Deezel Muscle?
I see owning my own building, right? So I have a little bit more control of my destiny. So right now, let's back it up a little bit. When I was a personal trainer, the gym could come along and say, hey, Rob, we want more money from you. I have to give you more money. I'm a little bit locked in on what they want, what their expectations are. Or they could tell me, we don't want you anymore. You're going to have to be a member, or you're going to have to be a trainer for the gym. And I didn't want that. Now I'm in a position where I have a landlord, which is, he's a great landlord, but man, wouldn't it be nice if I actually owned my own building? So that's what I see in the future. I'll own my own building. Probably a little bit bigger of a gym, and I'll probably have a little bit extra space. I would love to rent out a couple of other, some space for some other like-minded business. that we kind of feed off each other.
Nice, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Any thoughts for like multiple locations or anything, or just most right now just to growth like bigger?
Just bigger. The one thing I sent a text message out to all my members because we were talking about it. A buddy of mine, Lonnie, was like, "Rob, you should send it out to your members. You should ask them that question. Where do you think a second location was?" It was nice. Basically, it was like next to my house. Basically, that's what I got from everyone. I don't know how helpful that really was, but and then a few people said we don't want multiple locations because that means you're going to be here less. Now, I think in a perfect world, which I strive to make a perfect world, I would live in Flagstaff in the wintertime, and I would get a gym in Flagstaff. So I'd be in Flagstaff, Deezel Muscle up there. So that I could see that. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess, and that's a big enough location difference that it's not going to like take it away. But also, I agree with you on like the kind of like keeping like the stationized location because it's going to be hard to replicate the energy, the setup, and like the community that you built. That's a lot of times what a lot of companies have trouble expanding is because their multiple locations don't match their home place.
Right.
And so I think it's a good call.
Thank you. And I think the nice thing about when I got into the business, I knew that if I just train my clients, I'm going to make ends meet. I'll still be able to pay my mortgage and pay all my bills. So the growth was slow, steady, and organic. It was nice because my members who knew the place were selling the gym to their friends, which was great. They would come in expecting this. They knew what to expect. They knew I had a gym etiquette paper, people I had to adhere to before they could train here. So it's been great. It really has. I don't do a lot of marketing. I haven't really marketed anything for months because I like the slow growth.
Yeah, it's a lot more natural.
A lot more natural. Yeah, and it's a lot more, I don't know, more like-minded people.
I agree. Yeah. Now, when it comes down to like you working with specific athletes, because you've worked with a ton of different bodybuilders, fitness competitors in this area, what's the mindset or what is the thing that you're looking for that you think would make them successful or be able to go further down the line of the sport of like a national or professional level?
I think when you're looking at being national, professional, now it's beyond just loving the sport. Now, I've found that when I'm getting ready for a bodybuilding competition, my balance is 80% bodybuilding, 20% everything else. Like, I would prep people and we would look at their yearly calendar. If they've got a lot of stuff going on, I personally wouldn't be prepping for a show if I had a wedding to go to, I was doing all this other stuff. Some people can, and some people do really well with it. I prefer to be a little bit more locked in, and the dedication and commitment has to level up from obviously what you're doing before if you want to go to that level.
Is there like, now when you're looking at your own personal athletes that you're helping out, what are the key traits that you're like, I think this person can go like the distance?
It comes down to genetics, Mark. A lot of it comes down to genetics. I mean, I see guys, I had a posing class yesterday, and you could tell, like, man, this guy could do something. A lot of it is, if you could put on the size, which is going to take years probably, but the genetics has so much to do with it, definitely.
I agree. And then, of course, then the dedication and patience comes
Of course. Yeah, dedication, hard work, patience, all that stuff. But if everyone did that, the best genetic person from the beginning is going to prevail at the end, right?
Of course. Not sure else to ask, buddy. This has been Dr. Mark the Shark Smith, IPB Pro, rapping with Robert Farrow. Thanks again for taking out the time to discuss all those fun things with you. Feel free to give me a follow at Dr. Mark the Shark Or feel free to find my website, www.drmarktheshark.com. Rob, do you want to tell them how to find you and come down here?
Sure. Instagram or Facebook, Robert Farrow. Or you can plug in Deezel Muscle, that's Deezel Muscle, on Instagram, or Google it. You can find the website, and hopefully we'll see you down here. We're in Tempe. Thank you.